Do you ever feel like you're on an emotional roller coaster? One minute you're feeling great, and the next, a wave of anger or anxiety crashes over you, making you say or do things you later regret. In a world that never stops, filled with endless notifications and constant pressure, it's easy to feel like our emotions are in control, not us. But what if I told you there is a way to understand the storm inside and find a calm, unshakable center? What if the key to a happier, more peaceful life was already within your heart, just waiting to be understood? Today, we're diving deep into a modern spiritual classic that holds the map to our inner world, Understanding the Heart by the renowned Zen Master Minh Niệm. This isn't just another book about mindfulness. It's a practical guide for anyone navigating the complexities of modern life. Minh Niệm, with his gentle and relatable wisdom, shows us that understanding our emotions is the first step toward mastering them. In a world obsessed with external success, more followers, bigger salaries, and endless achievements, this book reminds us that true happiness and strength come from within. So if you're ready to stop being a passenger on your emotional journey and start taking the wheel, stick around. We're about to unlock 3 powerful ideas from understanding the heart that you can apply to your life, starting today. The first, and perhaps most fundamental idea from the book, is that all our actions spring from our emotions. Think about it. Why did you snap at a coworker this morning? Maybe it was lingering frustration from a traffic jam. Why did you spend hours scrolling on your phone instead of working on your passion project? Perhaps it was a subtle feeling of anxiety about not being good enough. Zen Master Minh Niệm explains that our hearts are constantly sending us signals, and our lives are the result of how we respond. The problem is, most of us never learn to read those signals. We react blindly, pushed and pulled by invisible emotional currents. This is where we lose control. We find ourselves in arguments we didn't want, making impulse purchases we can't afford, and chasing things that don't truly make us happy, all because we don't understand the emotional why behind our actions. The book teaches us a radical idea. No emotion is inherently bad. Anger, jealousy, fear, they are not enemies to be destroyed. They are simply messengers. They are a natural, unavoidable part of being human. The real danger isn't the emotion itself, but our ignorance of it. When you feel a surge of anger, the goal isn't to suppress it until you explode. It's to recognize it, to get curious about it, and to understand what it's trying to tell you. By doing this, you reclaim your power. You're no longer a puppet of your feelings. You become a wise leader who listens to their counsel but makes the final decision. Your action step for this idea is simple but profound. Become an emotional detective. The next time you feel a strong emotion, positive or negative, don't just react. Pause, take one deep breath and ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? And what might be the real reason? Don't judge the answer. Just observe. This simple act of pausing and naming your emotion is the first step to taking back control. The second powerful lesson from understanding the heart is how to transform our most difficult emotions into sources of strength. Zen Master Minh Niệm doesn't offer quick fixes or tell you to just think positive instead. He guides us through the fire of our negative feelings, showing us how to use their energy for growth instead of destruction. Let's look at 3 common struggles: anger, jealousy, and anxiety. We all know the destructive power of anger. It can shatter relationships and leave a trail of regret. The book teaches us to see anger not as a monster, but as a scared child screaming for attention. When anger arises, instead of lashing out, we are guided to observe it. Where do you feel it in your body? A tightness in your chest, a heat in your face. By observing it without judgment, you create space. In that space, you can ask what boundary was crossed, what need is not being met. This transforms the raw, explosive energy of anger into clear, constructive action. Suddenly, you're not just angry. You understand that you need to communicate a boundary or solve a problem peacefully. The action step here is to create an anger plan. The next time you feel anger rising, your plan is to physically remove yourself from the situation for 5 minutes. Go for a short walk, splash water on your face, or simply sit in a different room. Use that time not to fuel the anger, but to simply breathe and observe it, breaking the cycle of immediate reaction. Then there's jealousy, the green-eyed monster that whispers tales of inadequacy and fear of loss. It often arises in our relationships, both romantic and professional, making us feel insecure and possessive. Minh Niệm reminds us that jealousy's true root is not the other person's actions, but our own fear and lack of self-worth. We're afraid of losing something because we don't believe we are whole without it. The transformation here comes from turning our focus inward. Instead of monitoring someone else, we are encouraged to nurture ourselves. The author wisely points out that we can never truly own another person. True connection is built on trust and freedom, not control. The antidote to jealousy is self-love and building a life that is rich and meaningful on its own. Your action step is to start a self-appreciation practice. Every evening before bed, write down one thing you did that day that you were proud of, or one quality you appreciate about yourself. It could be as small as making a healthy meal, or as big as finishing a difficult project. This practice slowly builds your inner foundation of worth, making you less susceptible to the winds of jealousy. Finally, let's talk about anxiety and fear, the constant companions of our fast-paced, uncertain world. We worry about the future, about deadlines, about what others think of us. Minh Niệm offers a simple, powerful truth. Worrying is not planning. Worrying is mentally rehearsing a negative outcome that hasn't happened yet, solves nothing, and only steals the peace of our present moment. The way to overcome this is to anchor ourselves firmly in the now. When your mind starts spinning with what-if scenarios, the book advises us to gently bring our attention back to our senses. What can you see right now? What can you hear? What does the chair you're sitting on feel like? This practice, rooted in mindfulness, pulls you out of the imaginary horrors of the future and into the solid reality of the present. In the present, you can take real, concrete action. You can't solve next month's problems today, but you can write one email, make one phone call, or take one step in the right direction. Your action step is to practice the 5 senses grounding technique. Whenever you feel anxiety rising, pause and mentally name 5 things you can see, 4 things you can feel, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. This simple exercise yanks your brain out of the anxiety spiral and plants you firmly back in the present moment where you have power. The third and most liberating idea from understanding the heart is that true lasting happiness doesn't come from the outside world. It is an inside job. We live in a culture that screams the opposite. We're told that happiness is just one promotion, one new car, one perfect relationship away. We chase these external things relentlessly, believing they hold the key. But as many of us discover, reaching these goals often leaves us feeling empty, already looking for the next thing to chase. Minh Niệm gently dismantles this illusion, explains that relying on external conditions for our happiness is like building a house on shifting sand. Fame can fade, money can be lost, and relationships can change. True happiness, he teaches, is a state of inner peace. It's the quiet contentment that comes from a mind that is no longer enslaved by ambition, jealousy, or fear. This peace is born from self-understanding. When you truly understand what makes you tick, your triggers, your deepest needs, your core values, you stop chasing things that aren't aligned with your true self. You start finding joy in simple things: a walk in nature, a meaningful conversation, the taste of your morning coffee. This doesn't mean you can't have goals or enjoy success. It means your happiness is no longer dependent on them. You are whole and complete, right here, right now. This leads to a profound redefinition of love. We often mistake possession and dependency for love. We think loving someone means needing them to complete us. This kind of love is fragile and often leads to suffering because it's built on fear of loss. The book illuminates a different path. True love is born from understanding and acceptance. It begins with understanding and loving yourself. When you are at peace with who you are, you can love others without needing them to fill a void within you. You can offer them your presence, your support, and your compassion freely, without expectation or control. This is a love that respects the other person's freedom. It's a love that can withstand change and even separation, because your own well-being is not entirely dependent on them. It expands beyond romance to include a deep, unconditional love for your family, your friends, and all living beings. The ultimate action step for this idea is to cultivate moments of being, not doing. Schedule just 5 minutes into your day where your only goal is to sit quietly and do nothing. No phone, no music, no tasks. Simply be present with yourself. In these moments of stillness, You begin to untangle your happiness from external achievements and connect with the stable, peaceful joy that already exists within you. It's in this quiet space that you truly begin to understand your own heart. So let's bring it all together. Understanding the heart offers us a revolutionary roadmap to navigating our inner world. We've learned 3 life-changing ideas. First, recognize that your emotions are the source of your actions. Your key action is to become an emotional detective, pausing to ask, what am I feeling and why, before you react. Second, learn to transform your most difficult emotions. Create an anger plan to find space, build self-appreciation to counteract jealousy, and use the 5 senses technique to ground yourself when anxiety strikes. And third, find true happiness within. Cultivate inner peace by scheduling moments of simply being, untangling your joy from the chaotic outside world. Remember, this is a journey, not a destination. You won't become a Zen master overnight. The goal is progress, not perfection. It's about being a little more aware today than you were yesterday. Each time you pause, each time you choose to observe instead of react, you are strengthening your inner peace and reclaiming your life. If this video helped you see your emotions in a new light, please hit the like button. We'd love to hear from you in the comments. Which of these action steps will you try first? And if you want more practical wisdom to help you master your mind and live a more fulfilling life, make sure you subscribe to DreamAIReview and turn on notifications. Thanks for watching.